It's a new month, which means it is time to open up a new box from our friends over at Video Games Monthly. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with Video Games Monthly, it is a way for you to get retro video games delivered right to your doorstep. And the nice thing is they have a number of different tiers depending on your interest and budget level. They have games for systems dating back to like the original Intellivision, the one that came out, the ColecoVision, the Atari 2600, the NES, everything up to and including the PS4 and the Xbox One. Hey everyone, Gary here with Rock Solid Productions. Thanks for stopping by and checking out our unboxing of this month's Video Games Monthly. Now, what I want to know from you here today in this episode, behind me, this is my copy of Samurai Pizza Cats that I got at the Mo Game Con 2019. And I actually bought it from Norm, the gaming historian. What I want to know, have you ever bought a retro or modern video game off of someone on YouTube? It was one of those things, walking by his booth, it's like, you know what? I want this. And the fact that it was Norm's, I really appreciate it. Obviously, I've also gotten stuff from the amazing John Riggs, Chris Carlson over at Game Dad, Square Pegs, Jay. Well, you'll have to stay tuned for a future video because there's something that I do have from Jay that is not quite ready for prime time yet. So our box that we have here from Video Games Monthly, this is the 5 game per month package that we pay for. And we do pay for it. They don't send us this. They also don't check out this content before it goes live. So what we're going to do, we're going to take this, we're going to throw it on the bench. This is kind of a light box, so I kind of don't have high hopes for 1 or 2 up in this one. Now, one thing versus other months that I've done with this box here is in the past few months, I've actually had PS4 and Xbox games on my list. Took those off. I wanted to focus this month on Famicom, on the NES, and the Super NES and Super Famicom. So let's check out what we got. All right, so let's take a look at this month's box. As typical, you may see what's in here before I do, just because of the angle of the camera, and I'm sitting off to this side. So let's take a look what we have. I feel a little bit of bubble wrap. I've got something here. I don't know what this is. United States of America, 1 million, gotta catch 'em all. I have no idea what this is. I guess this is something that Pokemon did in 1996, is the way that I read it. Kind of gives you a brief description of what Pokemon is. I have no idea what this is, where it's from. Interesting. Feel card. We hope you enjoy your latest box. Please update your library on the website by adding these games and any other games you have acquired. All updates to your gaming library must be made 7 days prior to the end of the month. I've actually done that this time, so hopefully no duplicates. Win 3 games. Again, post your box to social media for a chance to win 3 free games in your next box. Let's see what else we have in here. I feel games. I don't feel any other cards, so I got a Tony box. There's no 1-ups. There's no 2-ups. So hopefully that means we have 5 pretty killer games. So I'm going to slide the box over to the side. And our first one out is not good. Captain Skyhawk for the original NES. This was actually made by Rare, believe it or not, but it is just not a great game, worth about $3 roughly. All right. Let's see, up next we have another NES game. Ooh, Dr. Mario. So interesting, I actually did not have this for the NES. I've got it for the Famicom, but I did not have it for the NES. This is not a... It's not a very clean looking cartridge. There's a bunch of gunk up in here. Label doesn't look terrible. Back looks decent too. 3-screw style. And we'll take a look at the pins here in a little bit. So one decent, one not so decent NES game. Let's see what we have here. Super NES, Mortal Kombat 3. I have the original, I don't have 2, and I didn't have 3, so... A little bit of label damage on the back, almost looks like it's... the case is popping out or something, but overall, not in bad shape. We have 3 down, 2 to go. Feels like another Super Nintendo game. Ooh, Tetris Attack. Unfortunately, again, some label damage, as you can see right here. Cartridge is not in great shape at all. Again, some dirt and crud up here. It's missing the important label on the back, so I'm wondering if this is legit or a repro. It feels legit, but I mean, we'll see. And one last game here. This feels like it's on another NES game. Gotcha. A terrible game. Decent label. Okay look on the cartridge. So what we're going to do now, like we do with every one of our Video Games Monthly boxes, we're going to open these up. We're going to take a look at how the pins look and everything. And once again, we're going to break out our microscope. So up first we have Tetris Attack that we're going to just go ahead, open up, see how it looks. These screws look awfully crummy. We'll give you a closer look under the microscope here in a second. But there's a lot of buildup on those, it looks like. Oh my goodness. Alright, you've got to take a closer look at this. Alright, so here you can see the pins under the microscope. You can see everything that's in here. We've got fuzz hanging out right there, which is not cool. This is going to be one of those. Let me turn the lighting down even more. So here you can look at the pins on the front. I'm going to flip it over now so you can see pins on the back, which these are really not good looking either. I'm not even going to bother with the 1-up cleaning card to begin with. This is going straight to Brite Boy. Now one thing too, I said the screws were pretty nasty as well. I mean, here you can kind of see the gunk and the corrosion buildup around here too. So we are going to go straight to Brite Boy like I mentioned. And Brite Boy is a metal cleaner, a metal polish, but it is a non-abrasive. So we're going to go ahead, put our pins back underneath here. And here you can see better kind of what I was looking at before we even clean it up. There's the chip side, the ROM side, there's the back side as well. Not a good looking game out of the box. Not a good way to start this out. So we're going to take some Brite Boy and just put a small film across the top there. And then we're going to work that in. How bad will this be to begin with? Let's take a look here. That's pretty not good. So I'm going to let that kind of sit and work on that side. We're going to flip it around. We'll get this side here. Now, while there are other metal polishers and cleaners and whatnot out there, Brasso is one that gets brought up all the time. What I like about Brite Boy is the fact this is a non-abrasive. So while you are removing some material from the pins, that's terrible. You're not doing as much damage as like a Brasso. It also doesn't leave that white chalky residue behind either. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to let that sit for a few minutes, and then we're going to hit it with a clean cotton swab and a 1-up cleaning card. Alright, that's been sitting here about 4 or 5 minutes now. We're going to go ahead, we have our clean cotton swab right here. Just clean that off. Look at all that black gunk. This is what, again, other videos you've heard me talk about this. It's about preserving your hardware. I know people, ugh. Come on guys, that's no bueno. Any way you slice it, that is no bueno. About ready to send the boys at Video Games Monthly a bottle of Brite Boy just to kind of help them in the future. I mean, you can see this crap that I'm pulling off here. This is what we're trying to prevent from getting into your games themselves. Now we're going to go ahead. We've got our handy dandy 1-up cleaning card right here. And we're just going to apply some fluid to the fluid side. And we'll clean up our pins just to make sure that we've got all the extra Brite Boy off of here, because it can leave a little bit behind and you don't want that getting into the pins on your system. So this is really a multi-step cleaning process. And then once you have your pins cleaned, do whatever you can to not touch them with your fingers. You don't want the oils and whatnot from your fingers to get on the pins that you just cleaned. And there's the dry side. We'll flip it around, we'll get the dry side here. And now let's throw this back under the microscope. So much better. Look how much better those pins look just going across here. We got rid of that fuzz too. These are looking really, really good. A little bit of black marring here. I'm still seeing a little bit. Not terrible though. Let's flip to the other side. Again, making sure we're not touching the pins. Look at that. So much better. Now you do see the side-to-side marks that we just kind of left behind cleaning, but overall this is a win. So we'll go ahead and seal everything back up. Now before I put this game back together, I'm going to actually clean up part of the case here, because this is just it's kind of gnarly looking, and for that we are just going to use some isopropyl alcohol and some cotton swabs, and for that we'll just run a thin bead there, probably from a smoker's house. Yeah, that's just from the plastic. So get this one here. And granted, your pins will never come in contact with this. It's just one of those of, I just don't want my games like this. And this is actually one I will keep. This is not a flip. We'll put the game back in here. This just looks, the entire inside of this case just looks odd to me. I don't know why, it just does. So I'm not sure if this is a legit copy or not, but why would you make a duplicate of Tetris Attacks? I'll drop our screws in here, go 1 and a 2. Tighten these down, we're on to our next game. Alright, we have Mortal Kombat 3 up next. This one, the outer case looks like it's in considerably better condition, so hopefully the inside of the case is also in better condition. Those aren't too terrible, but again, let's take a look at the microscope. So overall, we do have some signs of wear and tear here, but definitely better than what we had on Tetris Attack. We'll do just a 1-up card on this, and we still have our side fluid, so we'll leave it under here. Give it a good scrub. That looks better already. Now there's a little bit of a fuzzy that's hanging out up here that got caught on one of the pins, and I just touched the pins after cleaning them. What did I say don't do? Don't touch the pins after you've cleaned them. Those actually look pretty good. Those look pretty good indeed. Let's get the back side now. Now, this side here does look dirtier to the bare eye, but looking under the microscope, they don't look as bad as I think that they did. Like I'm seeing a couple of stripes, some horizontal stripes here. So let's go ahead and we'll hit it with the dry side. Yeah, this looks pretty good. I'm going to put this one back together. And then you can also see here, just looking at the inside of the case, how much cleaner this case is as well over what Tetris Attack was. We'll get our tabs securely back in here and get our game back together. Next up is Gotcha from LJN. This one actually doesn't use security bits. This uses flat blade screws, so we need to grab our tool to be able to do that. And here we have our other little electric screwdriver dealio. Definitely not as fast as my Hitachi, but it gets the job done. Yeesh. Yeesh. So under the microscope, this doesn't look as bad as it looked to the bare eye. I can see some wear and tear marks and everything on here, but I thought I was going to have to Brite Boy it. We will try first with just the 1-up cleaning card and some isopropyl alcohol. This side definitely, you can see black pitting and whatnot right there. This side definitely looks worse, so I may have to just Brite Boy this back side. And you know what, we are just going to do that because this is kind of rough looking, at least to me. So we're going to, it was a little bit thick to start with, that's what she said. So all we're doing at this point is we're spreading it around. Even already, just like that, look at how much has pulled off here. We're going to let that sit for a little bit. Well, we are actually going to hit the other side too It's just one of those, there's no reason not to at this point. Again, just a real light strip there. Yeah, I mean, you can see the dirt just from the application that it's pulling off. Much like earlier. Oof. Okay, I'm glad that I did this. Much like earlier, we're going to let this sit for 4 or 5 minutes, let it kind of do its thing, and we'll come back and we'll remove it and finish up. Alright, so now it's been about 4 or 5 minutes. We're going to grab a fresh cotton swab and just wipe our excess off. Ugh. That's terrible. I'm glad that I decided to go ahead and do this. And that was the cleaner of the two sides. Now I want to see how this comes off. That's just one swipe. Oh, that's disgusting. That's really filthy. Look how much better those pins look. And we'll throw it again under the microscope in a second. Oh my goodness. We're going to actually get a fresh Q-tip here because I want to make sure that we're getting everything off that we can. Alright, now we'll hit it with the 1-Up card. Put a little bit more fluid on it too. Helps if you remove the cap. I'm leaving that in. I am leaving that in. So there's the fluid side. Hit it with the dry side. And again, we'll go ahead and give you a look under the microscope. And I'm going to show you the cotton swabs too, because those are really, really gross. Look how much cleaner those pins all look. That is the chip side. There's the back side. They're like new. And again, just for some comparison, look at that. That's just one of the cotton swabs. There's another one. This is all crud that we kept out of these cartridges. Sorry if you guys hear the kiddo upstairs. She is having a good old time tonight. The two halves back together might be a little bit easier if you pull out the screws. We got them in though. Get these guys all tightened down. And I feel terrible that I just spent as much time on such a terrible game as Gotcha. But it's now clean. That one will get flipped. Dr. Mario is up next. Let's take a look here, and this is your standard security bit, so I'm glad to see that. And these are 3.8mm security screws, also called a game screw or game bits. So Dr. Mario not looking too bad. A little bit of something right. I'm going to grab the other screwdriver. A little chunk of something sitting right there. Let's take a closer look. So here we have the pins. They're not looking too bad, but I do want to take a look, and we do have some black pitting there. I do want to take a look at this. We are going to hit it with, I'm going to go actually straight to a Q-tip with, I'm actually going to go straight to a cotton swab with some 1-Up cleaning fluid. I'm going to see if I can't just get this to come right off, and there it is. All right, just had some dirt hung on there. Now, one of the things, you can just use a cotton swab and some isopropyl alcohol. Why I prefer the 1-Up cleaning cards over that is a cotton swab can leave lint and fuzz behind. Let's take a look here. Yeah, I'm not concerned, but these spots here definitely don't look great. And we are getting some dirt off of here. We're going to dry this real quick with a fresh one. Let's see if we can get that out with a little bit of Brite Boy. So there it is there. Black mark is all the dirt there that we just pulled off, so we're just going to run it across the top here real quick. Now, any of these items that I'm showing you, I will have a link down below and a pinned post where you can actually get them Holy cow. I'm gonna back that up. Look how dirty that is. I was not expecting that. But where you can get all of these cleaning supplies from either through our Amazon affiliate links or through CastlemaniaGames.com. So again, just a little bit of black pitting here that I'm seeing. I'll just do a light little of Brite Boy. Just do that. Here you can see how little I threw on there. Yeesh. Okay, so now that we've got that, we're going to take our 1-Up cleaning card and just clean it off on the fluid side. Same thing here. We are just going to hit this with Brite Boy real quick. There's that. And this wasn't as dirty as the earlier games were. That's why I'm not worrying about letting it sit for a couple of minutes like I did on those. You know what would be really awesome is if my Must Tool microscope actually recorded to a micro SD card like it's supposed to, like it says it does. So that way I didn't have to shoot guerrilla style like this. Ugh. But Banggood.com doesn't want to offer a exchange, and instead they're blaming the fact that they're saying that it's my SD cards, that they're not class 10 enough. Their SanDisk class 10. There's nothing wrong with my SD cards. Don't buy this microscope. That's all I can say. There's other ones out there that work a whole lot better from what I've seen. Okay, so now that we've got that, we're going to hit it again with the 1-Up card on this side. And, I mean, you can see some of the sideways marks from when I was cleaning there, but so much cleaner than what it was out of the box. Come on, guys, clean these a little bit better, please. We're going to go ahead and I think it goes this way. Yep. Now this is one of the interesting ones where it actually has a hole there through the board, along with the way that it aligns everything else in here. And again, the whole reason why I do the back out before going all the way in is the fact that it seats the threads properly in the cartridge. Four down, one to go, and Captain Skyhawk is the last victim, the last offender. And this also has regular security bits. And to the plain eye, it looks a lot worse than it does to the camera here. And that's, again, we're going to show you on the microscope. There's a lot of wear showing right here. A lot of just black marks here, and actually here for that matter. This side doesn't look as bad, although there are pretty excessive wear marks here. Again, let's give you a closer look. So here's the break in the board as far as between the two halves of the pins. You can see the marks, or at least I can see the marks, very pronounced right through here. It's pretty dark, especially in this part here. There's the other half of the board where you can kind of see that. Let's flip it over and look at the other side, because on here too, you know, looking right here, you can see the black streaks on the pins. Hopefully that comes through pretty well. Yeah, this is another one where Brite Boy is pretty much gotta happen. If you look here, you can also see black marks that start here where there's actually not a pin and goes over to the pins as well. So we're gonna go ahead and just hit it again with Brite Boy. I mean, it's unfortunate that this is a lot that seems that needed a lot of Brite Boy. No pun intended. I'm disappointed in this, quite honestly. I really wish that they would kind of get these games cleaner before they ship them out. Because for someone like me, okay, I can spend 20 minutes, make a silly video on it, and talk about this. But, you know, what if you don't have the equipment that I have, and you throw this in your system and you're contaminating your system? I mean, that's dirt just from the application process. So we're going to flip it over, and we're going to let the back side work as we apply our cleaning solution to this side. And again, this is just the application process. I haven't actually started to clean. That's, again, you can kind of see the dirt on the cotton swab from just the application of the Brite Boy. So a couple minutes, we'll come back, clean this up. All right, so this has been a few minutes here. We're going to go ahead, flip over. We started on the pin side of the board, not the chip side. And all we're doing is removing that gunk right there. And any additional Brite Boy as well. I mean, that's just, like, if I went to a swap meet, and this is the condition that I would find, it'd be one thing. This is a paid service, so I know that I give these guys a hard time about the cleanliness of the games. But again, look at that. That's what I'm pulling off. And I know margins are tight, and I know expenses are high, and I know inflation is real. But this is something I really wish, from day one, something that I have found, that they just do not clean the games thoroughly enough, at least for my at least for my taste. I don't think that they clean the games well enough. In my mind, I am paying them for hunting and finding the games, for shipping the games, and part of it is for making sure that they are playable and clean. And that's not acceptable. It just isn't. But thankfully, we now have all of our games cleaned with Brite Boy that needed it. I think Mortal Kombat was about the only one that we didn't hit with Brite Boy. We are going to hit one more time with our 1-Up cleaning card. And then with this, we're just looking to remove the last of any Brite Boy residue, because we don't want that getting into our system either. So there's kind of a look. And this wasn't a clean card when I started, but it's still lifting more crud off of here, which is, I mean, I'm glad that it's doing it. I'd rather go through these than through pins in my system. Speaking of pins, pushing ROM chips into your hand hurts. Alright, so we are done with our 1-Up cleaning card. I'm going to bring back our cartridge case here. Bring that guy in. And then final step, we'll grab our game bit. We're going to start this by hand. Back it out, get it seated. Same thing there. Same thing here. We'll back it out, get it seated. Back it out, get it seated. And then we will tighten it down. Now, don't use any ordinary electric screwdriver like when you're doing this. My Hitachi here has a built-in clutch, and the clutch is set, as you can see, as loose as it can go to 1. I can turn it that way, where that's no clutch, 1 is clutch fully engaged. So let's go ahead, let's total up our value. Let's see what we think. So what are my thoughts on this month's box? Well, the more I look at it, the less disappointed I am. See, initially I looked at it, it's like, man, Captain Skyhawk is a $3 game all day long. Gotcha is not worth a whole lot more. But looking at Dr. Mario, Tetris Attack, and Mortal Kombat 3, those are the 3 that saved this box for me. And plus, they're just actually pretty decent games. I have to admit, I have actually never played Tetris Attack. This is one of those that I will actually keep and be playing and check and see how the gameplay is on it. I love Tetris, so I think this is kind of like a Puyo Puyo type of take on the Tetris genre, but not really sure. I will say the one thing that I was pretty frustrated with, and you probably could tell from the section on the bench, was just the quality of the pins on the games. These were in really rough shape. The only game that I didn't Brite Boy was Mortal Kombat. Everything else, it pretty much needed it. I really want the guys from Video Games Monthly to take this criticism to heart. What they do is not easy. They go out to conventions all over the place, they game hunt, they buy lots to go ahead and be able to provide you with a selection of games each and every month. I don't know how big their customer base is, which would definitely add to the struggles of being able to get this done. But games should not be looking this rough, at least in my opinion. Now, for me, this is going to be the last month that I do Video Games Monthly for a bit, and that's not because of this lot or because of any other lot. We're getting ready to go back to conventions again. I've got the Midwest Gaming Classic that I will be at. I will be hosting a panel with the Hair of the Dogcast guys, and I will also be at the Bloomington Normal Game Con with Adrian from Live Action Games and Adam from One Up Cleaning Card. We're going to share a booth actually there. So for me, the need for a service like this is going to diminish probably until August or September of 2022 for me, simply because it'll be easier for me to go out and game hunt. I do like the service overall, and especially if you are just getting your feet back into the retro gaming world, this is a good way to build up your collection with common games. If you're looking for those hard to find ones, yeah, probably not gonna get them, just being completely honest there. But for what you pay, even though like Captain Skyhawk, like I mentioned, it's a $3 game, which you have to have enough value in the other games to raise up to make it worthwhile. This box is still worth more than what I paid to get it, so that is important, and I'm glad that they do that. But overall, this is a service that I will come back to later on, and it's probably one of those things that while subscribe and unsubscribe and subscribe and unsubscribe, just as things happen throughout the year, as convention season hits, or if we've got a lull, or quite honestly, if I just want a surprise delivered in my mailbox. Now, if you do want to check out like any of the other videos we've done showing how to go ahead and clean your cartridges, maintain them, some of the other Video Games Monthly hauls that we've got, those videos are coming up for you right now. Thank you so much for watching this episode. If you want to help support Rock Solid Productions and be a part of our community, there's a number of different ways you can do so. First and foremost, join us over on our Patreon page or become a channel member here on YouTube. By joining through either one of those methods, you get early access to just about all of our video content, exclusive content, and a whole lot more. We also give you shout outs at the end of each and every one of our videos. You can also pick up some awesome Rock Solid Productions swag. We've got t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, and more available through our Teespring store on screen right now too. You can also pick up some of our awesome 3D printed cartridge stands, Amiibo holders, Nintendo DS holders, and more by visiting our 3D printer store on screen right now as well. Links for everything will be down below in a pinned comment. If you want to stay up to date with everything we have going on here at Rock Solid Productions, make sure that you're following us on the different social media networks. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/RockSolidProductions, Instagram at instagram.com/RockSolidProductionsGK, and Twitter at RockSolidStudios. If you're looking to pick this and other retro and modern gaming accessories up, make sure that you head on over to CastlemaniaGames.com. He has a feature over there called Castle Cash, where the more you spend, the more you earn towards future purchases, and Castle Cash is just like cash. He also offers convenient payment plans for more expensive items over $50. Finally, make sure that you use promo code ROCKSOLID10 when you're shopping at CastlemaniaGames.com, as it can save you up to 10% on most items on the website. Again, thank you for watching this episode, and I cannot wait to see you again soon.